Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful day. We are on our Wednesday, so we are halfway through our week. Today, we'll be looking at Chapter 23 of A Child's History of the World. Chapter's title is Rome Kicks Out Her Kings. In 509 BC, something happened in Rome. There were two classes of people in Rome, just as there were in Athens: the wealthy people, who were called patricians, and the poor people, who are called plebeians. We use the same words now and call people who are rich and aristocrats patricians, and the people who are poor and uneducated plebeians. The patricians, can you stop, bro?
Sorry.
The patricians were allowed to vote, but the plebeians were not allowed to vote. At last, however, the plebeians had been given the right to vote. But in BC, Rome had a king named Tarquin. He didn't think the plebeians should be allowed to vote, and so he said they should not. The plebeians would not stand this, and therefore they got together and drove Tarquin out of the city, as the Athenians had driven out their king. This was in 509 BC, and Tarquin was the last king Rome ever had. After King Tarquin had been driven out, the Romans started what is called a republic. Excuse me. Something like our something like our country. But they were afraid to have only one man as president, for fear he might make himself king, as they had had enough of kings. So the Romans elected 2 men each year to be rulers over them. And these 2 men they called consuls. Each consul had a bodyguard of 12 men. These men were given the name lictors, L-I-C-T-O-R-S, and each lictor carried an axe tied up in a bundle of sticks. This bundle of sticks, with the axe head sticking out in the middle or at the end, was known as a fasces, and signified that the consul had power to punish by whipping with the sticks or by chopping off one's head with the axe. Some modern coins and postage stamps have faces, there's an E on the end, faces pictures on them. So this is supposed to be a lictor, and you can see he's got his bundle of sticks, and it's around the axe, so he could punish with either whipping people with sticks or chopping off their head. That would make creepy, I know, that would make for a very bad day. Okay, let's see, where were we? Perhaps you've seen fasces used as ornaments or decorations around monuments of public buildings. Sorry, having a hard time getting settled today.
Because of me?
Yeah, it is. One of the first 2 consuls was named Brutus the Elder, and he had 2 sons. The king, Tarquin, who had been driven out of the city, plotted to get back to Rome and become king once more. He was able to persuade some Romans to help him. Among those whom he persuaded were, strange to say, the 2 sons of Brutus, the new consul of Rome. Brutus found out this plot and learned that his own children had helped Tarquin. Then Brutus had his sons tried. They were found guilty, and in spite of the fact that they were his own children, he had the lictors put both of them to death, as well as the other traitors to Rome. Tarquin did not succeed in getting back to wow, can't get comfortable. Tarquin did not succeed in getting back the rule of Rome in this way. The next year, he tried again.
And of course he can't.
We'll see. This time, he got together an army of his neighbors, the Etruscans, and with this army, he attacked Rome. Now, there was a wooden bridge across the Tiber River, which separated the Etruscans from the city of Rome. In order to keep the Etruscans from crossing into the city, a Roman named Horatius, who had already lost one eye in fighting for Rome, gave orders to have this bridge broken down. That makes sense. While the bridge was being chopped down, Horatius, with two of his friends, stood on the far side of the bridge and fought back the whole Etruscan army. When the bridge was cracking under the blows of the Roman soldiers, Horatius ordered his two friends to run quickly to the other side before the bridge fell. Then Horatius, all by himself, kept the enemy back until at last the bridge crashed into the river. Horatius then jumped into the water with all his armor on and swam towards the Roman shore. I lost my place because I'm laughing at you. Okay, let's see. Though arrows the Etruscan shot were falling all around him, and though his armor weighed him down, he reached the other side safely. Even the Etruscans were thrilled at his bravery, and enemies though they were, they cheered him loudly. There's a very famous poem called Horatius at the Bridge, which describes this brave deed. A few years after Horatius, there lived another Roman named Cincinnatus. He was only a simple farmer with a little farm on the banks of the Tiber, but he was very wise and good, and the people of Rome honored and trusted him. One day, when an enemy was about to attack the city, for in those days there always seemed to be enemies everywhere, ready to attack Rome on any excuse, the people had to have a leader and a general. They thought of Cincinnatus and went and asked him to be dictator. Now, a dictator was the name they gave a man who, in a case of sudden danger, was called upon to command the army, and in fact all the people, during the time of the danger. Cincinnatus left his plow, went with the people to the city, got together an army, went out and defeated the enemy, and returned to Rome, all in 24 hours. It's a lot of work in 24 hours. The people were so pleased with the quick and decisive way in which Cincinnatus had saved Rome that they wanted him to keep right on being the general in a time of peace. Even though they hated kings so much, they would have made him king if he would have accepted. But Cincinnatus did not want any such thing. His duty done, he wanted to return to his wife and humble home and his little farm. In spite of what many would have thought a wonderful chance, he did go back to his plow, choosing to be just a simple farmer instead of being king. The city of Cincinnati, Ohio, is named after a society which was founded in honor of this old Roman who lived nearly 500 years before Christ. That's it for now, you guys. Hope you enjoyed chapter 23. Ta-ta. See you next time.